Hey everybody, it's Star Raptor here, and this is my movie review for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Yes, it's finally here. As if you can't tell, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, so I've been waiting for this one for a long time. Damn, when those credits rolled, all I could think was, wow, I gotta see this movie again as soon as possible. I had a lot of questions after seeing the movie for the first time. Actually, more questions after seeing the movie than going into seeing it. And to me, that's a great thing because, it's always something that makes a good movie for me is when I leave that theater and I'm thinking about what I watched for the next couple days. And for me, it's over a month the movie came out, I'm still thinking about it. So that was really something special. But yes, this movie definitely satisfied me. I had super high expectations. J.J. Abrams pulled off the impossible with this film, taking the reins from George Lucas and really starting off a whole new era of Star Wars. Now we're going to have a movie every year under the banner of Disney. So what makes this film so great? The plot, basically, they're on a mission to find Luke Skywalker. He has gone missing, but the Resistance has found a way to find him. They found a map. So the story, there's a MacGuffin who is BB-8 who is carrying a map. Okay, it is a bit similar to R2-D2 holding the plans for the Death Star in A New Hope. And yes, there are callbacks to A New Hope, but I thought they were great. I didn't think that they were really rehashing the story like some other people say. I think this is something they needed to do to get a whole new generation into Star Wars, as well as get all the people that watched the originals that love them so much they infuse those great moments and sort of plot devices into this one because it works. And for me, it worked in this. So moving along, there is a droid, BB-8, a new cool spherical ball droid who I loved. I think BB-8 had so much personality in this movie. It's definitely a worthy addition, I think, to R2 and C-3PO. So they are transporting this droid to find Luke. So along the way, we have a ton of new characters introduced. First off, we have Finn. Finn is something we've never seen in a Star Wars saga before. The telling of a story of a stormtrooper, and this guy is defecting from the First Order, which is now the remnants of the Empire. Now Finn, he's a very strong, courageous character, and he has a lot of comic relief in this film. I really enjoyed his interactions with both Solo and Rey. And speaking of Rey, we have Rey, which is the most mysterious character in this film, and that's why I like her so much, because they kept her secret, but they made mentions that of another lineage of a certain character. They might be throwing us off, but anyway, Rey is a character we find on this backwater desert planet of Jakku, and she is a scavenger. And as the story progresses, we find out she is very sensitive to the Force, and she might have a lineage to Luke. I mean, right now, she's a great pilot. She can fix things. That's all Skywalker traits. So I think, maybe down the line she could be, and even her vision, she has a Force vision that actually makes some certain callbacks to both Obi-Wan and Luke as well. But Rey is such a strong female character. She doesn't take crap from anybody. She stands for what she believes. And I think going forward, it's going to be something profound when we find out what her origins were, because we see she was left on that Jakku planet for a reason. And she keeps saying that she can't leave. She has to go back to the planet because she's waiting for somebody to pick her up off the planet. But it's been years, so it should be very interesting, and I hope we find it out. We're probably going to find that out in the last movie, I'm guessing, in episode 9 of this trilogy. We also have a new hotshot pilot called Poe Dameron. Now, Poe Dameron, just like Finn says, he's one hell of a pilot. I especially loved on the Takodana planet when he is in his X-wing and he must have take out like 12 guys in probably about 10 seconds, and Finn's just watching him on the ground. This guy, he's got this real cool attitude. He is the commander of the squadron of the Resistance X-wings. And he's just a real fun guy. Finn breaks him out of the Star Destroyer Finalizer, and I love that relationship between him and Finn, especially in those 5 minutes that we do see them together in that TIE Fighter action sequence, which was absolutely brilliant. I love that sequence. I can't wait to see hopefully more of those guys in the next film. Now we move on to Maz Kanata. Now Maz Kanata is an alien that's, I think they said about 1,000 years old, so that makes her even older than Yoda. So I find it super interesting that we have this alien character that has survived anything that has gone on in Star Wars so far. I mean, I guess she goes all the way back to, when the Sith were probably a lot more numerous than just the rule of two. So she's lived through the Clone Wars, and she says this, she's lived through, the Clone Wars, the Galactic Civil War. She's seen it all, and speaking of seeing, she has these goggles and this special sense where she can see people's eyes and tell what their future's like. But I find interesting that she's also force sensitive. So I wonder if they'll explore that in the future. And she also has Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. She does, I forgot to mention, she does own a whole pirate's kind of lair of just a bunch of thugs and stuff, kind of reminiscent of Mos Eisley Cantina in Episode 4. So, will we see her again in the next movie? Maybe. Now, moving on to the new cast of the evil characters, the bad guys here. These are all part of the First Order, which, like I said before, is the Empire reborn and reimagined. So, first off, we have Hux. Now, Hux is a very young officer in the First Order. He's a general, and he commands the forces on Starkiller Base, as well as he's command on his own Star Destroyer. So he is this guy that just doesn't take crap from anyone. Again, he is a strong leader, very reminiscent of Grand Moff Tarkin from Episode 4. He's got that presence to him. His subordinates, really support him, and but then we also have his Captain Phasma. Now, Captain Phasma is a character that they did a lot of marketing for. It's really cool. She's got this chrome armor that, if you read the visual dictionary, she actually got from the Emperor's yacht on Naboo. So, I thought that was a really cool connection. So she is in command of, she's in command of Finn as well. But I think her story fell flat a little bit because she didn't really do too much in this movie. I'll tell you guys what happened later on about my dislikes of the film, which featured one of the actions she did. But she looks really brilliant. I can't wait to see her in Episode 8. We've got a confirmation she'll be in Episode 8. So, she could be, she's kind of like, right now, she's kind of like the Boba Fett of this trilogy, it seems like. And finally, we have Kylo Ren. Now, Kylo Ren, he's been on all the marketing. He is being framed as the new Darth Vader of this trilogy. And, as much as it would have been cool to see a new Darth Vader, I was hoping we wouldn't get, like, another clone of Darth Vader, just this pure evil guy. Yeah, that'd be fun, but, I mean, we gotta do something else here, guys. And I was very fascinated because in the beginning of the movie, he's such a badass. And he is stopping laser bolts in midair. He is, mentally probing people for information. Like, these are powers we've never seen in anyone before. And he commanded such a presence, sort of like Vader. You see him on screen, and something bad is about to happen. And through the movie, we see he has a different side to him. He has, a conflicted side. He is actually fighting off the light side of the Force. Now, this is something we've never seen in a Star Wars movie. Everybody's always fighting off the dark side. But here we already see a character who's bathed in the dark side, and he's having feelings of coming back. So I thought that was brilliant. And we actually see him take his helmet off. You would expect somebody who's this brutal looking guy, and he's actually just a fair looking younger man. And we later find out he's actually Han Solo's son, which just adds a whole nother depth to the entire film at that point. So I really enjoyed Kylo Ren, and even though the action he does do at the end of towards the end of the movie, I hated him for it, but you can understand why he had to do it. So all the new characters set aside, of course we have the big three that return. So we have Leia. Now Leia is a general. She's no longer. I think she was more going to be political, but she actually turns out to be a general in this movie. So she's in the command of the Resistance, which is a small faction that is a private army that isn't really part of the Republic, but the Republic supports them because the Resistance are there to fight the First Order, which the Republic doesn't actually want to really think about because they think they're insignificant at this point. They pose no threat. There's been no open war between anybody. They're just, it's kind of like a Cold War, it seems like, sort of thing. So Leia's in there, and she's been separated. I don't know if she's been separated or divorced from Han Solo for a long time. So she's, when we see her, she is her battle hardened self. She is somebody that is respected by all her subordinates, as she is going to get the job done. And we have Han Solo. I think this is one of my favorite parts of the film, is just the character of Han Solo. He is back. This isn't Harrison Ford just picking up a paycheck. This is Han Solo here. Like, we've seen him. Like, it's not like it's like we've seen him yesterday. It picks up right off. Return of the Jedi. All his witty humor. His, he just wants to get through and make money, because at this point we see him, he's back to his old smuggling ways. He's smuggling Rathtars, and he's back there, and he's with Chewie as well. Chewie's back, and great. It's like, I can't say enough good things about Han Solo and Chewie. And it's interesting because Han Solo takes Rey underneath the wing when they meet on the Millennium Falcon, and he's offering her a job, and it's just, oh man, and it killed me to see Han go. Oh man, I mean, this is a character that's been, a part of my life as a Star Wars fan. I grew up with the original trilogy, so seeing Han go killed me. I could understand why they had to do it. Maybe it was because Harrison Ford wanted to be killed off in Empire, and he's finally getting his way out in a glorious way to die. Maybe that's what it is, but to me it suited the story. Like, his son Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren, needed help with his last severance of the light side, and killing off his father is seems like it's irredeemable. Whether or not he comes back from that in episode 8 or episode 9 and he does something, who knows. But Han Solo, I was super impressed by him. And we do see Luke for a split second, and they held it there just long enough to see him and not even speak a line. I thought that was great though, because now I'm so excited for episode 8 to see what happens with Luke, and if he's going to train Rey, because by the end of the movie, they find out where Luke is, and Rey visits Luke, and we'll see what happens there. I think in episode 8 we're gonna have the simultaneous training of Kylo Ren by Snoke, who I forgot to mention. Snoke is the evil force, mysterious force behind the First Order. He's the one that's setting all the moving parts forward and getting everything, and he's going to train Kylo. So we'll see if Luke trains Rey. I mean, it's gonna happen. So we're gonna see what's going on there. But I really enjoyed the film, guys. Some things I want to touch on and what I liked. the Falcon chase on Jakku when Rey and Finn were getting away from those TIE fighters was absolutely brilliant. I've seen it in IMAX because they shot that sequence specifically with IMAX cameras, and it is absolutely awesome. I mean, them going in between the sorcerers and everything else, and it just made me cringe every time I seen the Millennium Falcon, rub against the sand. It just made me cringe, like, oh no, don't hurt the Millennium Falcon. It's too precious. Don't do that, Rey. What are you doing? You're killing it. So I really love that. Again, Han Solo is one of those characters in this movie I just couldn't get enough of. Harrison Ford did an amazing job. So the lightsaber duel at the end on Starkiller Base between Finn and Kylo, and then Rey and Kylo. I thought it was awesome. First of all, seeing a non-Force user using a lightsaber. I mean, we've seen it in, I think, the comics, and we've seen Han Solo use the lightsaber on the Tauntaun back in Episode 5, but to actually see like combat on the movie screen, it was great. I mean, Finn was doing something. I mean, they trained him to use probably melee weapons through the Academy with the Empire. So that's why he was able to put up that much of a stand against Kylo. Also, Kylo, you gotta imagine, he got shot by Chewbacca there standing on a bridge, So he was kind of mortally wounded. You seen what that bowcaster did to everybody else. So when people argue that, how was Kylo's, how was he not destroying Finn? Well, you gotta imagine, first of all, he kind of did destroy Finn, because he just, Finn got a lucky hit on him with his lightsaber, but then he ended up just slashing up his entire back. We'll see if Finn has some kind of exosuit or something, because I don't know if he can come back from a spinal injury like that. But I think by far my favorite moment of the film is also in that lightsaber duel in the woods there on Starkiller Base, and that would be with when Kylo Ren is trying. Okay, so Finn falls on the ground. He's out of the count. He's out of the battle, and his lightsaber goes flying. So Kylo Ren's trying to use the Force to recall the lightsaber. You see it shaking, kind of just like from Empire Strikes Back with Luke in the Wampa Cave there. Okay, and this totally fooled me. He Force pulls it. It goes flying past him, and whose hand does it go into? Rey's hand. And all of a sudden, that iconic Twin Sons music comes playing with Rey holding the lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber. That just gave me absolute chills, but at the same time, it made me cheer, because we need a character to take this guy out. I mean, he killed Han Solo. We need to get revenge on this guy, and that just moment when she's on the edge of the cliff, and she's thinking the Force, and time seems to slow down, and she channels into the Force and defeats Kylo Ren. I thought that was amazing. This is one of my favorite lightsaber duels, I think, of the entire series. I mean, basically because they're both really brutal. Like, everybody with the lightsabers. I mean, Kylo Ren, you could tell he's not really trained that well. Finn doesn't really know how to use lightsaber, and Rey, she's probably never used a lightsaber before. She's just got skills using a staff. So I thought it was brilliant. Kind of almost remind me of the duels from the old movies rather than the prequels. So also, I really like the mystery behind Rey. Where's she come from? She's making those marks inside the AT-AT as her home. With every day she survives. Why, okay, it's my speculations that Rey could be Luke's daughter. Maybe when the whole schism was happening with Luke's Padawan went bad, taking out everybody. He wanted to save her. He did a mind wipe, kind of like they did with Revan in Knights of the Republic, and put her on this backwater planet, and just keep her out of the whole conflict, like what Obi-Wan did with him on Tatooine. So I really like that. As well as the vision, the Force vision she has. I think you could see so much stuff in there. It looks like we see the Knights of Ren in there with Kylo Ren probably at the Jedi Temple. They're training out with Luke before everything goes bad. There's so much things you can pick out. I think you can hear Yoda's voice. you can hear Obi-Wan saying, Rey, these are your first steps. What's the significance of Obi-Wan even knowing about Rey? Is she connected with Obi-Wan? Maybe, because she's got a British accent. I know that you could probably change your accent depending on your relatives and whatnot, but I think it's kind of suspicious, you know? Maybe she's related to Obi-Wan. Finn's background as a stormtrooper, I think that was awesome. I always wanted to know more about stormtroopers, and here we are, we have one. This guy, you know, he sees the brutalities of war. He's been trained for war, but you got to think that not everybody's gonna, you know, perform up to standards with the Empire, or rather the First Order. So that was really cool for me. Interplanetary fighter battles. We've never seen on a movie fighting in atmosphere in fighters. You know, TIE fighters, X-wings. It was great to see those, by the way, back. The X-wings and TIE fighters. You know, here again, making awesome callbacks to the original trilogy. It's just so fun seeing these on the surface of a planet. You know, Takodana, Starkiller Base, and the humor in this film is unlike anything I've seen as a Star Wars film. I don't think I've laughed so hard. I mean, I can go on and on. Tell about the Conjure Club. I know that's a meme going around. We got, why can't we just use the Force? You can't just use the Force. You know, it's just like, oh, and you're cold? You know, Han Solo, just these great lines, and just everybody in the movie. And that was another great thing. Not once did I just have a thought of, I want to get to the old characters. I don't care about the new characters. The new characters were absolutely brilliant. They're all cast well. Every one of these actors in the movie even performed so well. J.J. Abrams did a great job with this. But as much as I liked about the film, I will have some criticisms as well. They didn't do enough exposition about the galaxy, in my opinion. They didn't really tell us about, you know, the Resistance, the First Order, you know, what happened with the Empire, you know, where these guys are from. I mean, yeah, I know about all this stuff now from the comics and the novels, but you know, the people that are just average moviegoers, they're not huge fans like us. You know, they just, you know, they're gonna feel left out, and I know a lot of people did feel left out. So we you know, maybe the next movie they'll just do they could have just explained it in like one sentence with Leia or somebody. One short little 2-minute thing. That would have been it. Also, Starkiller Base. Okay, I think you know, after the second Death Star, you know, it does make sense that they would make another planet destroying thing. Although this one's a system destroying mechanism. It's not so much that Starkiller Base was in the movie. It would have been alright if it was in the movie. But I just didn't like how it was destroyed so fast. I would have liked to see Starkiller Base actually survive this movie and play another part in Episode 8. I guess, I mean, it did its job, okay? It showed us that the First Order is out there. You know, they destroyed the entire system. The Hosnian system, which is actually the capital of the Republic government now, is now destroyed. The fleet's destroyed. So in Episode 8, it's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be absolute all-out war. You know, the First Order have revealed themselves. They're not messing around now. I would have just liked to see the Starkiller Base carry on. And finally, I love the look of Phasma. Okay, we can't flesh out every one of these characters. I understand that. Just this one action in a movie of her shutting down the shields. I thought she might put up more of a fight than that. It seemed like it was just a little easy. She was like, oh yeah, my men will be here in any second. But still, I mean, she's this high esteemed, respected Imperial or First Order officer. Why would she actually let down a shield? Do you think she would, you know, take a few blaster bolts before, you know, succumbing to these guys? So I thought that was a little weak. But those are just a few small, tiny examples compared to everything else I loved about this film. Guys, if you have not seen Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens by now, I mean, you're probably one of the 5 people that hasn't seen it, because this movie has probably broken just about every record you can think of at this point. It's remarkable how much popularity this film has gotten, because it's not just a popular. It's a great movie. I mean, there's no mistaking that this is a film that everyone will love. even people that have never seen a Star Wars movie before, they can go into this film and watch it and understand it all, because there's so many new characters. The way the film starts off, it's starting off with new characters. And if they want, they can go back and watch the other ones, which obviously I recommend. So with that being said, that is my review for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So what did you guys think of my review? Did you like Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens? You can discuss all this in the comment section below. Also, hit that thumbs up symbol if you like the video. And if you like this video, you might want to subscribe to my channel, where you'll find more videos such as a weekly Star Wars show I do here called This Week in Star Wars Canon. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at StarRaptor, as like my Facebook page at StarRaptor. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.